So these were a few cool methods of the ICMS persistable object. Now let's see what we can do with the handler, the ICMS persistable object handler. Let's say I want to retrieve a list of all my clients. So I can do clients array, which will be the variable, an array, and I'm going to call getList. A getList is a method of the handler which will retrieve all the objects that I have in the database, and which will return a simple array with the ID of the object and the identifier name. In our case, it will be the client ID and the client name. And let's output this. And see what it does. My first client and my second client, so all the clients that I have in the database. Now I can also retrieve the actual objects themselves. So clients, object, and we're going to use the handler again, but the method will be getObjects. So it's the same as getList, but instead of returning an array, it will retrieve an array of objects. And then we'll do something like this. Sorry for my typo, I'm not on my usual keyboard, so I'm kind of lost. Um, so we're going to loop through the array of objects, and we're going to output the name of the object, for example. And again, we've seen a few methods of the object. Now there's another one which will be really useful. It's the getVar. GetVar will allow us to retrieve the value of any field. So in our case, I want to retrieve the client ID, or no, the client name. Client name. And let's see what this does. And it's not the correct one, so it's not client name. It's probably client title, the name of the field I've used. Nope. So let's see what it is. Client. Oh, it's just name. Aha. So, name. Yay. And then, for example, let's say I want to also display the email. So we're going to do this. Email. So I'm able to list all the information because I have access to every objects. Now let's use another method. Let's see another method of the handler. Not another method, but the get objects we've used here. Let's try and pass a criteria as the first parameter of this object, of this method. Let's say that I want to retrieve all the objects that have my first client as their name. So in ICMS starting at 1.2, we have a method, a function to automatically and easily create a criteria, a basic criteria. It's called ICMS build criteria. And it's an array as a parameter, and in the array I passed what kind of criteria I want to create. So let's say name will be equal to my first client. And I could add more criteria like email would be equal to this and this and that. But let's just create only one for now. And in the getObjects method, I'm going to pass the criteria in parameter. And we're going to loop again through the result. And if everything is okay, we should only get one result because in our client's module, there's only one client with that name. So let's see what that does. And only one with the info, which is the email. And let's complete this session with a few other interesting methods of the object. Um, let's say I'm going in the My Clients module on the admin side, and I'm going to edit the My Client, the first client. And let's say I want to remove the phone number in that form. I don't want the phone number. So if I go into My Client admin client.php, in the edit client function, this is the function that is called and is used to display the form. Um, remember, we are calling the handler to retrieve the client ID. It creates a client object. And if the client object is not new, which means that we are editing a real client, we will call the getForm method of the client object. This will generate the form. Then we are assigning the form to the template and it will be rendered on the screen. Now, just before we call the getForm, we can do a few manipulation on the object itself. So let's say that I want to remove the phone number from the form. I can simply call hide field from form with, for example, phone. Is it the name of the, yes, phone. Hide field from phone, from form, sorry. Let's refresh that. No more phone. I can also, let's say I want to remove the email also. So hide field from form, the first parameter, it's the only parameter it can accept string, so it will only hide one field, or if we have more than one field, we can pass an array. Let's say phone, and I want to hide the email as well. Email. And we also have show field on phone, on form. So if the field was hidden previously, you can make it available again. Show field on form. And let's show back the email field. Email. You can also make field read-only. So let's say I want to make the email field read-only. So, oops. Make field read-only. And all these methods, you can always use either a string or an array if you have multiple fields you want to control. So let's say I'm going to make the email field read-only. And it's now read-only. I cannot edit that field. And that's it for today. Thank you very much for joining us, and join me next week for another session of the IPF Webcast. Thank you.